I do recall warning people about Mark Carney being the chairman for basically the largest real estate owner in the country, Brookfield Asset Management, biggest buildings in Calgary. This guy has a net worth of around 100 billion, but he put it into a trust. So he actually, on paper, doesn't legally own it, but controls the whole thing. Recently, Brookfield gets a 4.5 billion reconstruction project in the Ukraine. And now that he's the prime minister, he's pledging 4.3 billion to the Ukraine. Now you see how the system works. You help by giving your own company money and then building assets for that company and telling the public, I'm helping. You gaslight them. He's blatantly stealing from you and your impoverished family to build real estate in the Ukraine that he will profit from. Let that sink in for a second. And all this money that's been going to the Ukraine is pretty much getting laundered. It's not going to this massive war effort. And everyone's a little bit deceived about what's going on there. Yeah, there's maybe some arguing going on. But the Ukraine and Russia have been in turmoil forever, just like Israel and Palestine. They're going to fight forever. And why not profit from it? That's what these politicians think. They're like, that's the way the world's worked ever since we got into central banking on a global basis. World War I, World War II, the Vietnam War, the Korean War, every other war, the Iraq War, Desert Storm that went on for how long? I don't know. When I was a kid, I think that was like a 20-year war that we had in the Middle East, and it's kind of still going. They just change it up. They're like, ooh, it's Afghanistan now. Ooh, now we're in Libya. Now we're in Syria, stealing all the oil nations. We're liberating all the oil nations. They just so happen to be very rich with resources. And that's what they're doing with Canada now. They're like, hey, we already raided the Middle East. Let's move on to Canada. That thing's got Alberta. Look how much oil's sitting there. We just need to bury that country and get our hands on it somehow. And that way we can launder it back to ourselves. That's what politics has become. And this new age that we're moving into, the age of Aquarius, I believe is going to be where government no longer exists in its current form. It's kind of going into self-destruct mode right now. Like we're at the end of this, era of democracy. Because that started, a couple thousand years ago in Athens. And I think that's kind of played itself out. What's going to come of it? Probably something a little more either tyrannical, where we go into some kind of Hunger Games society, or something a little more focused on the individual, your privacy, your rights, your property, and your labor. And the government will likely be a lot smaller if we can get there. But hopefully there isn't a war somewhere in between. But just wanted to ask you again, I'm asking again, why did you vote for Carney if you did? Because now this is what you're kind of responsible for. And you're also responsible for all this easy bail, easy crime wave that is going on in Canada. So in the comments, if you're a Carney voter, please tell me why.